Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into something absolutely incredible. We have the distinct privilege of unpacking a profoundly transformative piece of literature. We're looking at the comprehensive summary of the Hindi Akhand Jyoti magazine, specifically the groundbreaking edition from March 1982, authored by the revered Pandit Shriram Sharma Acharya ji. Now I want to be clear, this isn't just a basic recap of an old text. No way. This is an exploration of human consciousness. The ideas laid out in this specific month's edition, they carry a resonance that is just as powerful, if not more so today as they were decades ago. So take a deep breath, center your mind, and let's embark on this meditative journey straight into the heart of spiritual and scientific wisdom. Okay, let's dive into our agenda. We'll be following a structured spiritual ascent today. We'll start with inner potential and meditation, look at where science meets spirituality, see how that leads to elevating family and society, move on to sparking the thought revolution, and finish up with a core summary.
So starting with Section 1, Inner Potential and Meditation, Awakening the Self.
This is where the real magic happens, right? We have to begin exactly where true change actually starts, within ourselves. The March 1982 edition of Akhand Jyoti places an absolute premium on looking inward. Before we can even think about changing our circumstances, our families, or the world at large, we have to awaken the dormant powers resting quietly inside our own minds. You see, the text treats the self not as a fixed, unchangeable thing, but as an infinite reservoir of untapped potential that's literally just waiting for the light of awareness. To tap into that, the text outlines a few non-negotiable core practices. It all starts with deep meditation. And hey, this isn't just about relaxation. It's a highly active, focused engagement with our highest consciousness. Through that, we learn how to navigate emotions, basically making sure our feelings act as tools for growth rather than roadblocks. That naturally leads into forging willpower, which is a massive theme here and absolutely crucial for overcoming life's hurdles. Ultimately, the whole shebang culminates in refining our personality, taking our raw character and polishing it into something luminous and aligned with our highest ideals.
Actually, there's a remarkably powerful quote from the willpower and mind power sections of the text that perfectly nails this concept. It reads, "The tranquility of the inner mind is the supreme architect of our external reality. Where the willpower is forged, the world must follow." Take a second to let that sink in. The text is making a profound argument here that our external circumstances are entirely 100% reliant on our internal equilibrium.
Moving on to Section 2, Science Meets Spirituality, Bridging Two Worlds. Now, what's really interesting about this next part is how the text brilliantly harmonizes two fields we often think of as opposites. Once we have that inner foundation, it bridges the gap between ancient wisdom and modern scientific inquiry. It's like exploring the intersection where the laboratory meets the ashram. On one side, we have scientific inquiry, logic, empirical evidence, physical health, material progress. But on the other side, we have spiritual wisdom, diving into consciousness, the awakening of inner potentials, and deep practices like Gayatri. And here's the kicker. The author doesn't view these as competitors at all. Instead, they are framed as two necessary wings of a single bird. You absolutely need both for true human flight. And this synthesis leads to one of the most vital concepts of the entire text: scientific spirituality. The magazine argues that true human dignity and holistic health rely completely on integrating both scientific advancement and religious depth. Think about it. Without science, spirituality can kind of lose its practical grounding. But without spirituality, science can easily lose its moral compass. Together, they form this unshakable foundation that honors both our intellect and our soul.
Which brings us to Section 3, Elevating Family and Society, the Outward Ripple.
So, it's literally like a stone dropping into a calm pond. That individual piece we just talked about, it ripples outward. You can't contain it, even if you tried. The energy built up from meditation naturally spills over into the world around us, becoming the catalyst that transforms our families and, eventually, society itself. The text maps this out in these incredibly logical steps. Step 1 is life management, basically mastering the art of living on a personal level. Once you've got a handle on that, you naturally progress to Step 2, building harmonious family relationships that are free from unnecessary drama. Well, a whole community of harmonious families naturally leads to Step 3, massive social improvement. And the ultimate goal of this upward trajectory? Step 4, experiencing heaven on earth. It scales up seamlessly, from the micro right to the macro. But to actually sustain this societal improvement, the March 1982 edition highlights a few critical pillars. First, there is a profound reverence for women empowerment. The text views women as dedicated sadhvikas, spiritual practitioners whose modesty, wisdom, and profound inner strength form the very backbone of our culture. It also hammers home the absolute necessity of guiding our youth through student life, implementing real stress management for adults, and fiercely preserving the core tenets of Indian cultural philosophy, ensuring society never loses its foundational roots.
All right, Section 4, Sparking the Thought Revolution, Vichar Kranti. So, the crucial point here is the macro-level mission. We are talking about the complete reconstruction of the era. The flaming torch you see symbolizes this relentless, purifying light meant to awaken humanity on a global scale. And the vehicle driving this massive change is the Yug Nirman Yojana. It's an era-shifting movement, rooted in the spiritual epicenter of Shantikunj, entirely dedicated to the moral and spiritual regeneration of humanity. And here's the most amazing part. This doesn't happen through force or government legislation. The reconstruction of the era happens strictly through a revolution of thoughts.
The dynamics of how this revolution works are super specific. It's like a giant puzzle. It requires transforming the era by actively constructing new ideals in our day-to-day lives. The text makes it crystal clear that the core of the mission rests squarely on the shoulders of individuals who commit to high-minded thinking. It's this collective, synchronized elevation in our shared consciousness that directly triggers the advent of a new era. Which leaves us with a deeply personal, almost provocative question that the text essentially poses to every single reader. How does a profound shift in your daily thought construct an entirely new era? It's an invitation to recognize your own incredible power. Every thought of peace, every single moment of discipline, every act of compassion, it isn't just an isolated blip. It is literally a building block in the grander scheme of human evolution.
Finally, we reach Section 5, Core Summary, the Path Forward. As we bring this explainer to a close, let's just absorb the ultimate distilled wisdom of this entire March 1982 edition of Akhand Jyoti. We've traveled from the quiet depths of personal meditation all the way to a global thought revolution. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how the whole shebang interconnects. Look at this. If your focus area is the inner self, your core principle has to be meditation and willpower. If you're seeking knowledge, it must be balanced through scientific spirituality. When we want to elevate society, we absolutely rely on life management and empowerment. And for our ultimate global mission, we participate in the Yug Nirman Yojana through a thought revolution. Every piece is perfectly aligned. It's a flawless roadmap for human elevation. As we reflect on the phenomenal teachings of Yug Pandit Shriram Sharma Acharya ji, we are left with a profound realization. If the advent of the new era begins with the quiet awakening of your inner potential, the only question left to ask is, what will you awaken today?